Right. Good morning, everybody. It's so lovely to have you with us. It really is. I was just thinking, in 1986, I graduated of Cape Wits with my honours degree, but it was also a very bad year in South Africa, if you recall. I don't know if you remember. We had that blanket state of emergency in the country. You see, it's a testament to, it's an ironic testament to the way the government kept everything from.
We're not saying that 87 at last.
Yeah, 87, 88.
I actually left this because of that and moved back to KZN because it was really bad. This was a hotbed of political unrest. And it was quite scary, actually. Nonetheless, what I want to talk about and what I've been asked to focus on, firstly, let me just introduce our senior leaders, and I'll touch on how this works. And that is one of the biggest changes that we've had at the school. So this is Sizwe, and she is the RCL chair. And the RCL is really the department only recognizes the RCL body of the school. Ahista is head of the LMT, which stands for Learner Management Team. It was established when Ms. Catherine Raw took over from Mary Johnson, the great Mary Johnson, as principal. And then we have Lauren. And under my headship, I established the Learner Transformation and Diversity Committee. So the three ladies are our senior leaders, and they manage the different arms of leadership. There are many other arms of leadership, but I'll go into that just now. So I'm sure you've seen, we've had huge changes in the school. New buildings. You haven't seen the matrix yet. You're going on a tour. Yes, so you'll see our new matrix building, called the matrix because it accommodates commerce and mathematics. Bigger classrooms, spaces that are more conducive to contemporary learning. We've still got what we now call B and C block because the numbers were weird. So we just renumbered, which are very small classes. You know, remember when the school started, you had sort of an average of 20 to 22 girls in class. In grade 8 and 9, we tried to keep it at about 26 and 27. And we've less because more than 2/3 of the staff are paid for from the school fund. So the state currently only gives us 40 staff members. And we've got 100, and last count, 180 staff in the school. So it just goes to show what a difference parents paying fees makes to a school. Becoming more challenging, you know, in these economic times, people don't have money to throw around. And as school fees climb up, it's becoming increasingly difficult for parents to try and meet their obligation to pay the fees. But we try our very best to give the girls, we continue to give the girls quality education and to keep the parents satisfied with that. And I suppose 1,151 currently. Yeah, so there's absolutely no way they can all fit in the hall. And when you see the new Mary Johnson Centre, which some of you might have already seen, that is where we hold our assemblies. The grade 8s, 9s, 10s, and 11s sit at the bottom, and the grade 12s sit around the top. But it's a lovely space in many respects, but especially to have assemblies because we can bring the whole school together, the whole staff together. And we have a principal's assembly every Monday, most of the time, which gives me an opportunity to start the week with the girls, just focus them on all sorts of issues. And yeah, we've had other changes which haven't been pleasant. But, you know, I just feel out of a problem arises an opportunity. You know, you see the glass is half full or half empty. And when COVID hit us, it was awful because the school just completely, literally died. It took a long time to normalize. We did all sorts of changes to the windows. Remember those dreadful leather windows? So we took all of those out and created better ventilation, renovated a lot of the classrooms. It gave us the opportunity to do things with the spaces to make it better for the girls and the teachers in terms of learning and teaching. COVID also hit us in other ways and in terms of learning losses. But the interesting thing was we never stopped teaching. Just before schools were closed, all of our staff, our academic staff, were trained on Google Classroom. And we continued to teach virtually from the 31st of March, right up until everybody returned. Whether the girls responded well to that or not is debatable. But there was a very different rhythm in the school, obviously, and we were not allowed on the property even until June. So I was getting phone calls from Mr. Dupre, who was our buildings and grounds chap who lived on the property, saying, "May I go and mow the lawn? I'm very bored." So it was a big worry for me because I wasn't allowed at my own school, you know, and we all know about that, don't we? And then out of that, we have emerged beautifully, I believe. We have not dropped our standards as a school. We continue to focus on excellence. But what is great is that there was always this criticism leveled at the school that we didn't focus enough on sport. And Catherine Raw began it, but I continued it and said we need to actually grow sport at the school. So overall, we actually have 46 extracurricular activities, and more than half of those are sport. So the sporting codes and what the girls can do at the school has really grown. And in addition to that, we started last year by making it compulsory for grade 8 to conduct an extramural every term, terms 1 to 3, not term 4, because they write exams, and we've now continued that into grade 9. So eventually, before I retire, because that's imminent, well, not quite imminent, but 3 years from now, I'm hoping right up until grade 11, we can't do it with grade 12s. Everybody is doing something at the school, you know, and actually doing what we say we do, which is to grow the person and their character and their bodies together with their minds. And what is equally wonderful is how we have so many service areas, we have so many cultural areas that the girls can get involved in, and we certainly excel in many of those. So, for example, our Griffin band, our marimba band, I don't know if you've heard of them. Year after year, they win the SASPA Nationals, which is the South African School Band Association. So that's wonderful. They've won international competitions, but we had huge successes in the sporting arena. A lot of girls getting KZN colors, a lot of girls actually going to national. I think how many honors prizes did we give out for sport recently? Two honors prizes for sport. So I think in your day, getting an honors prize was virtually impossible.
And one, sorry.
You did. Honestly, we have a bridging award between full colors and honors. We now have what we call colors cum laude, which acknowledges real excellence and sustained excellence, but you get honors if you represent South Africa.
It's also brilliant, we just call
It's like a blue blazer, and they all had one.
So it's a maroon blazer now for honors, and it's very, very smart and obviously distinguishes the girls from the rest. And it's lovely to see the girls wearing their blazers with such pride. We've had changes in terms of our demographic huge, which I'm absolutely delighted about, which means that we really are a diverse school, grown this respect for difference, grown that sense of belonging and worth that we want to grow in the girls. I think in your time, school was very different. You know, you shut up and you listened and you did what you had to do. But you try. But we are educating a very different kind of child now, you know, and young people don't put up with their voices being silenced. And that's absolutely fine. What they do know is they have the right to speak, but it doesn't mean they'll get their way all the time. You know, so we encourage the girls to verbalize what they need and what they think, and create safe spaces in the school for them to do that. So, for example, the Transformation Diversity Committee have what is called Courageous Conversations. They invite speakers come here, girls who want to go and engage with them about all sorts of challenging issues, you know, issues that need to be spoken about. We address those issues in assemblies sometimes, and I think it's made the girls feel heard, which is what children need, actually. Again, in our day, it was never like that. I mean, I matriculated in 82 from Maritzburg College. Not talk back to anybody, especially if they were an adult. So that's a very, very positive change. And in fact, most of the changes have been positive. Very positive. We have a problem in the Westville community with drugs. There's a place over the road that sells data. So one of these marijuana or cannabis places, and I've heard in the past people saying, you know, you're a drug school or whatever. And the one year I decided, you know what, I'm going to organize a massive raid. Were you here? You must have been. You went grade 8. So the girls were a bit frightened, remember? And we brought the dogs in. And the police did a sweep through the whole school. We did not find one thing. On the odd occasion, we find girls getting up to mischief, which is what children do, because they experiment. But on the whole, they're wonderfully well behaved and really fantastic to teach. In terms of achievements, we continue to excel academically. So we've had that unbroken record. I sometimes go into a cold sweat at the end of every year thinking, okay, is this the year we're going to not get 100% pass? But since 91, we've had 100% pass. We've had girls who excelled academically, top 10 in the province, sometimes in the country. I think Cologne, I think in 2021 she came second in the country, and then subsequently went to Harvard, just graduated from Harvard. A lot of our girls go on to Selwyn University. Mrs. Raymond, my deputy head of academics, attended a function at UKZN where we received an award for the most graduates coming out of UKZN from this school. Varsity College, which is this new, I think they're now under Emirates. A lot of our girls go there because it's convenient. right here in Westville. Other than that, most of the time, we are drawing more learners now from outside of Westville. I think, generally speaking, in terms of Westville, dare I say, there's an older community now.
Oh, that's true.
It's a challenge being a principal. Public school. It's a challenge because the Department of Education is broke, and we don't get the necessary support that we should get. For example, our current school fees are sitting for the grade 9s to 12s at about 56,000 a year. We get from the state less than 200,000 rand a year.
Sure.
So we're talking a very minimal input into the education of children, and they work according to what they call quintiles. So quintile 1, 2, and 3 schools are non-fee paying schools, and quintile 4 and 5 are fee paying schools, and then they have a sliding scale of how much they give per child. I was at a conference for the past 2 days, and one of the governing body foundations mentioned that currently they're only paying 30% of that per child. So I often go to meetings and I meet principals, my colleagues, who are really challenged because their communities don't pay school fees. And they have to pay all the bills. They have to pay the electricity, they have to pay the water, and they're just not getting by. So some principals are actually spending their own money to purchase things for the school. So on a daily basis, I'm reminded of how blessed we are. And, all of you have contributed to that. You've contributed to the legacy that the school has been able to sustain over the years. We are very highly regarded in the community. Not always by everybody, because people look through lenses, and those lenses are sometimes very problematic. And we have what we call helicopter parents who run around spreading rumors and misinformation. And that is one of my biggest challenges, actually. When they come into the school and they experience the vibrancy and the energy and the absolute, I don't know what it is, spirit that the school embodies, they sing a different tune. And that's what I need to do before I retire. I need to bring the community more into the school to work together with us and to make sure we can prevail, really. So in June, I go into my 8th year as principal, and I'm enormously proud to head up the school. When I was initially appointed, there was a lot of backlash. Why was a man head up the girls' school? What's wrong with a woman? I remember going to the D&D gala and sitting with these female principals. They all gave me the best. And they really wanted to speak to me. Thankfully, they're now friends of mine.
Be very scary.
Mr. Marwick has just recently been appointed head of Pietermaritzburg Girls High. And he was, for a long time, he was at Maritzburg College. He was acting principal before he was appointed. And I was chatting to him yesterday before Derby Day today. So you're going to see a lot of Pietermaritzburg Girls High girls around. And he was apologizing because he had interviews. And I said to him, how's it going? He said, well, I'm getting a bit of flack from the female principals. I said, that'll pass. But welcome, and I hope you enjoy your tour of the school, and please come back anytime you know. And I'd love to see you all on the 20th when we have our big get together of past pupils. If you're in the area, please join us. Just let's say that. It's a really lovely morning because you connect with everybody, you know, from all over. Yeah, who've all had a different experience at this wonderful school. I hope you're impressed with what you see, and I hope you go always satisfied that the school has upheld its promise to the community to sustain excellence in every way.
Thank you.
Just the preface to the girls talking to you, because you're talking next, yes? Just to say that without our leadership program at the school, we would not be able to do what we do. The girls have taken ownership of their leadership roles and are absolutely amazing in terms of what they accomplish in their different ways. And what is fantastic is how they all work together to make sure that the school is being supported in terms of the girls especially. So thank you very much, ladies. I don't say it enough, but I really appreciate everything you do. All right, have a wonderful morning.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Thanks, Ceci.
Thank you.
Okay, you want some sport now?
Enjoy it.
Thank you. I'll see you walking around, I'm sure.
Good morning to the respected class of 19. My name is Victor Lewis and I am served as the RPR chairperson, also known as the Representative Council of Parents. Today I stand before you not only to speak about my leadership role, but to also reflect on how leadership has changed within the school over the years. In today's environment, the RCL serves as a bridge of communication between the learners and the school management team. We ensure that the learners' voices are heard, their opinions and ideas, while also encouraging the learners to uphold the values and policies of the school. Leadership has become more learner-centered, collaborative, and inclusive. Modern leadership focuses strongly on communication, teamwork, and creating spaces where every learner feels represented. The RCL cabinet is made up of different leadership roles, each contributing to the success of the council. Alongside me is the vice chairperson, whose role is to support the chairperson in leading the council and ensuring that all responsibilities are carried out effectively. The vice chairperson steps into leadership whenever needed. We also have the secretary, who ensures that important information, updates, and quick messages are efficiently communicated to the cabinet and relevant members. In today's fast-paced environment, communication is one of the most important parts of leadership, making this role essential to the smooth functioning of the council. Another valuable member of the leadership team is the grade 11 representative, whose responsibility is to be the voice of the grade 11 men. He communicates the concerns, ideas, and suggestions of the grade 11 to the RCL1, ensuring that the learners feel acknowledged and involved in the decisions that affect student life. Leadership today is not only about leading formally, but also about building community and creating opportunities for learners to grow. One of the biggest changes in leadership today is the emphasis placed on learner expression and engagement. In the past, leadership structure often focused mainly on discipline and authority. Today, while discipline and responsibility remain important, leadership has also become about understanding learners, encouraging open communication, and building relationships between the learners and the management. Being RCL chairperson has taught me that leadership is not about status or recognition. It is about listening to learners and acting with integrity and serving your community with humility and purpose. No matter the generation, these qualities remain timeless. To the class of 86, thank you for returning to share this special moment with us. Your efforts do not go unnoticed, and your contributions to the school have left a lasting mark that continues to shape who we are today. May we continue to build on the foundation you have laid and lead with the same pride, purpose, and commitments that have carried us through the school throughout the generations. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. My name is Lauren Carr, and I serve as the Transformation and Diversity Chairperson. Our committee exists to help create a school environment where every learner feels seen, respected, included, and valued. At its core, our role is about bringing the people of the school together, regardless of background, culture, beliefs, identity, or personal struggles, and building a community focused on dignity and respect. So one of our biggest goals is to educate and encourage open-mindedness within the school. We aim to create conversations around topics that are often overlooked, while also celebrating the incredible diversity within our student body. Over the years, learner leadership structures have evolved significantly, and today our committee focuses not only on representation, but also awareness and support. So our committees are divided into 4 subcommittees. They each focus on a different area of well-being within the school. So these are race, religion, and culture, sisterhood, gender and sexuality, and mental health. Each subcommittee runs initiatives and awareness campaigns and discussions throughout the year. These help to educate learners and create a more supportive environment for the school. One of our ongoing initiatives is the Awareness Month campaign. Throughout the year, ribbons are given out to the staff members and the learners, and reward in recognition of different causes. This might be a small action, but it plays an important role in starting conversations and showing our support for causes that affect learners within the school and the wider community. This year, we also have 2 major events taking place. The first is our cultural event on the 18th of June. This evening aims to celebrate the different cultures represented in the school. It will include performances, music, food, and storytelling, allowing learners to share and experience different cultures and traditions from their background. Our second and probably most significant event is our suicide prevention fund run, taking place in the 12th of December. Mental health is something that affects so many learners today and many young people within the general community. And we want to create an event that not only raises awareness, but also encourages conversation, support, and community involvement. The event is being organized in partnership with Westfield Athletics, local organizations, and other Westfield schools. It's open to learners, families, and members of the general public. Beyond just being a fun run, the goal is to create a space where people feel connected and reminded that you don't ever have to struggle alone. There'll also be awareness stations, a guest speaker, community involvement, stalls, and fundraising, and the event is in support of the mental health organization. As a committee, we believe that schools should not only focus on academic success, but also on the well-being of their learners. And this event is something that we are incredibly passionate about. Overall, the Transformation and Diversity Committee represents the idea that leadership is not only about organizing events, but also creating belonging within a school. We hope to continue building a school culture where differences are celebrated, conversations are encouraged, and every learner feels that they have a place in the community. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ankita Wilkinson. I'm the Learner Management Team Director. So what is the Learner Management Team? The Learner Management Team, or LMC as we call it, serves as a dynamic and influential body within the school, dedicated to fostering a strong sense of school spirit, unity, and belonging amongst all learners. Comprising of passionate, responsible, and forward-thinking student leaders, the LMC works collaboratively to create an environment where every learner feels seen, heard, and valued. At its core, the LMT strives to build a cohesive school community by encouraging participation and promoting pride in the school's identity and tradition. Through the planning and execution of a wide range of initiatives, the LMT played a central role in cultivating school spirit. So I just wanted to talk about a few of the initiatives that we've done throughout the year. So every year at our inter-house gala, we have a relay race with the LMT has a relay race with the leaders and whistle boys. And it's just a fun race where we all dress up. And every year there's never really a clear-cut winner, but we win every time. We also, another initiative we do with Whistle Boys, it's starting to become a tradition, is it's called Battle of the Griffins, and it's where our first team netball team versus their first team basketball team at netball. So then it's so vibey and everyone comes and it's so spirited and fun. And we all do walk highs and the boys come and do their walk highs and have kind of like competitions. And that is also something that we also always win. So I try to say that we're not really a sports school, but I think very differently because we're really giving our boys a run for their money. And then one of our initiatives that we did, one of our internal initiatives we did this year was the grade 9 and grade 12 Soul Sister initiative. So every grade 9 learner is paired up with a grade 12 learner. And then basically to kind of celebrate them meeting each other, they're all paired up, and then the grade 12 learner dips their paint, their thumb in paint, and then they do one side of the heart, and the grade 9 learner dipped it in the other color and like completes the heart, and that's like their Soul Sisters now. And the significance of the colors is that the red is because the matrix badge this year is red, and this year the grade 9's badge is purple. So that's why we chose that color scheme. And then it's just something nice because the grade 9 learners, like, grade 9 is very scary year. They have to choose their subjects, and they're also still juniors. They're kind of like the awkward middle child. So it's nice that they have a senior learner to kind of confide in, and that's like their sister. So yeah. And then another one of our small initiatives that we do is our stickers. So on breakup days or just fun or just special days throughout the year, before school starts from about 7 to 7:30, all the different members of the LMT will stand at the front gate and the back gate, and we give each learner a sticker as they come to school. And it's just something nice and cute because who doesn't have a sticker? And it's also nice, like throughout the day, to see everyone just wearing these stickers. Some people are wearing it on their cheek or their forehead or their hand, and it's really nice and it feels very like unifying. And then another one of our small initiatives is what we call Griffin Group. So every Friday before morning registration, we play music in our Mary Johnson Center, and everyone can just come and listen and just chill out and dance. And it's really nice to just end of the week and start of the weekend in like a fun way. And then some of our upcoming initiatives, so we've got a few dress-up dates planned. We have a grade 12 sleepover, we have a grade 11 picnic, and a grade 9 games evening. So we're already excited to carry those out. So ultimately, the LMT is more than just a group of student representatives. It's a driving force behind a vibrant, inclusive, and spirited school. Through our dedication, creativity, and commitment to service, the LMT helps to shape a school environment where unity thrives, school spirit flourishes, and every learner has the opportunity to experience a fulfilling and memorable school journey. T-shirt that we wear at all of our initiatives, our coveted branded Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. My name's Tamlin. You girls have all heard me already speak today over the last few days, but I just wanted to thank you all for welcoming us back today, all three of you. And it's actually been really interesting listening to you talk about leadership and legacy and spirit and sense of belonging. And I'm really pleased to hear that you still do dress up day. And I think we have some photographs. Yeah, we did some fun things, and thrilled that there's such a close community with the Boys High, and that's developing as well, which is really good. I think what we started something where we used to go and they'd come and watch the hockey team play, and then we'd go and watch them play rugby on a Saturday afternoon. Which was fun. There you are. So that in school uniform. In school uniform as well. So thank you so much for having us here today, and Mr. Untap as well. I'll say thank you very much for having us. It's a pleasure to come back. I do want to just acknowledge, Bronwyn, you do have to stand up. I hope the live stream can see. And actually, in matric, our badges were red as well. Yeah. And Bronwyn's shirt still has everybody's signatures and stuff on it. It's wonderful. So just for the purpose of the live stream and those who are listening from all over the world, I just wanted to say thank you for having us back here. This place and these spaces, whilst a lot has changed, I think you'll all agree it's incredibly evocative. Just looking over the matric, what we used to call the matric quad, coming in through the gates, even seeing the pool as we sort of drove down, it hasn't really changed very much at all. And we're so lucky to have come here, and I'm very honoured that the school still has such a hopefully strong connection with the old girls, but also that the school continues to excel. And you're obviously very clear examples of how well the school's doing. So thank you for having us back. To you guys, it's these corridors, the classrooms, the quadrangles, which I'm looking forward to seeing and having a tour around. They are places that just gave me, when the conversations we've had over the last few days are full of joy, laughter, sharing. We remain all smart, funny, determined women. And those were the girls that we were 40 years ago. And it's amazing that whatever we've done and wherever we've gone around the world, I don't think we've lost that spirit. And I think I said last night, wherever we go, whatever we do, we'll always be Westville girls. And I'm very, very proud of that. And it's been a long time, it's been 40 years since I've come back here. So I'm very, very grateful to be a Westville girl. So thank you very much. One of the things that I do think, I mean, we'll say thank you to Nikki anyway for organising us all amazingly. And we said thank you last night, but again, for everybody here, it has been a great privilege to get to see you all again and to get to know you all again. So thank you very much. And I have to say that the spirit of Westville girls stay in us wherever we go. And I hope that in 10 years' time, when we all come back here again, we'll gather again, and there'll be more gathering. But that we managed to share that with each other, and that we stay in touch with each other a little bit more. I like to do that anyway. We've got this WhatsApp group, and we've got a film now of all of the photographs, and they are amazing. So thank you again, and here's to the class of 1986. Yeah.
Cece, and I thank you so much. Cece is the absolutely beautiful PRO here at Westville Girls High, who made this all possible. And I just want to thank you for just embracing us here today. It really is going to be special. It has been special already, and we're so looking forward to the tour. So thank you for just opening the doors to us. Thank you for having us here this morning. We really do appreciate it. I also want to thank you, as Tamlin has, just for sharing your love and your enthusiasm for Westville Girls. Didn't you sort of get that feeling? And I think what is so exciting as well is just seeing how the school has actually evolved, and the beautiful way that young people are being heard, being recognized. It's absolutely amazing. And I think it just, it bodes so well for the future of Westville Girls High. We're extremely grateful to Mr. Untide as well, and for his time here with us this morning. So really from my side, just a massive thank you to everybody who's made an effort to be here, and to everybody who is online. I'm not sure how many are watching, but really it has been over the last 3 days the most really special time for us all just to reconnect, to share our lives. And I think one of the things that's really struck me is it actually, 40 years on, we think of how full of the joys of life, really to take on the world. And yet we've all, somewhere along the line, we've had our highs, we've had our lows. And I don't think there's one person I've spoken to where it's all been plain sailing. And it's actually been the most beautiful 3 days. Just at our lunch, at our walk yesterday, and our dinner last night, and even our walk around the school now, just sharing the lives that we've all experienced. And yet, Tam, to your point, we've all survived with smiles on our brows, with a great sense of vibrance and just a joie de vivre. And I really just pray that as we go into the next 40 years of our lives. Be around. If any of the local girls are around on the 20th of June, there is this big reunion that is taking place here. And it might be really great for us as the class of 86 to have the biggest representation of those of us who are still. Maybe just to show you. So this was our form of initiation. Yes, the standard six. So yeah, and it didn't look as nice as this. We actually had to make it ourselves on a piece of cardboard. And it says, my name is, and I'm only in standard 6.
It's really big.
Really big. And we wore this for one whole term. So there was no love between the tricks. We were these slaves, yeah. Yeah. So things have changed. So ladies, thanks again. It's been absolutely wonderful. Thanks for the snacks that you've provided. I know there's also a little something here as well for us, but let's just enjoy the tour and thank you to everybody. Tam, thanks again for being such a major part of the whole thing, for making the Edward Trace, and all the locals and the Joburgers and the Cape Towners. It's been absolutely flipping amazing.
Okay.
Am I?
Do you have the patience?
Oh, they're on my phone. Okay. Okay. Having a little quiz. And we've got some little vouchers up for grabs. They are paddle vouchers, if I'm not mistaken, as the same too. Okay. Okay. The first question: true or false? The first netball team wore a green skirt and a green sage shirt. False. There is a picture of the first netball team. They are. I already saw it. Thanks. Can you believe it? Just double check for us.
Yeah, to us. It's also an album.
Sage green shirt and a green skirt. How we were the only question.
Who else was there?
Sonia.
Answer that.
It's Donna. She was the shooter. Very, very good shooter. Okay, second question. How many deputies did Mrs. McPherson have?
No, I thought two. There was two. Two.
Two.
Who was the second one?
Can you remember who they were?
Mrs. Lawson was one. And Mrs. Johnston must be one.
That was it.
Paddle.
The car that's got pedals.
Last question is: which staff member retired in 1986 after 21 years of service to the school?
Oh, that's right.
Sometimes we are leaders, they don't take you on a tour. And they're ladies.
Can I please ask a question on the goals? Your scarves,
Yes, we
I'm
did so.
familiar. I've seen girls around Westfall, but I don't see they're all different colours and they
So.
give us the rundown. Your badges, like
Right,
yours.
all right. So this sash, this is the RCL sash, it goes to the grade 12 RCL.
You got the maroon one. Okay.
And then all the members of the Alliance have the navy sash.
Okay.
And split the savings back and then groups to all the ages of the.
Just ask, you've got a white trim on.
So this is for the total is the white, and that's academic, so it's visible. And then it's. And this is full cover.
This is hot.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. And your jerseys, are they only for matrics?
Yes, the trick.
Oh,
Special read on.
These are like the LMT badges. So the LMT makes a badge, and then recently TND has also started to make a badge that the learners can buy to like raise funds for like our fund. And then all of these are just kind of whatever leadership portfolios you're in. Like if you're like a drama monitor or a PR monitor, you know, like get a badge.
Thank you so much.
Somewhat and what is mixed up. Oh, I mean, Julie Ellie sharing also and Tibalatu as well as the Caesar is also a PR, so she'll be helping with our first. So can we just divide ourselves and then after the tour we'll move back here for your business and for the kids, and then we'll go off to whichever sports is happening to just take a quick walk.
Awesome. That's just stand in us. Hello, my name is Lisa.